Take your spotlight. If I wrote you a symphony, just to say how much you mean to me. If I told you you were beautiful.
What's up YouTube, it's your boy Tech It Up, back at it again with another video and the first video of 2026. I hope everyone had a great 2025 and I'm super excited to share this video with all of you because my last two videos have been focused on home automation. Last video I showed you all how to install in-wall or in-ceiling speakers, and I even hinted at a Home Assistant dashboard that I had up and running on one of my older iPads. And then in one video before that, I showed you all how to install smart light switches in your house with the cheaper solutions than some of the other switches that you can find out there. And now we're bringing all of that together, and I'm going to show you all how you can in 2026 get up and running with Home Assistant in less than 15 minutes. We may even be able to do it in 10 minutes. Now, why Home Assistant? Well, there's a lot of reasons that I could ramble on about, but Home Assistant allows for local control. It works without internet, and if you're someone that's been in the Amazon ecosystem for some years now, you know how much of a pain it can be to set up more complex routines. And then at the end of the day, if the internet is down, you have no access to any of your routines or any of your automations in your house, which is an extreme pain, especially if you're on fiber and you're in a new construction neighborhood and the internet is constantly going up and down. Home Assistant just allows for so much more capabilities, and you don't need a developer background, and it just allows you to do so much more. And in some later videos, we're going to get into some of those advanced automations. But what I want to show you first is what you need to be successful with this. So I'm showing you on my screen something that you should purchase on Amazon. It's the CanaKit Raspberry Pi starter kit. And so this is what we are going to run Home Assistant on. Now, you may be looking at this price and thinking it's a little steep, but if you really want to go all in to Home Assistant, I do recommend having a Raspberry Pi and not buying the Raspberry Pi separate as well, right? You might as well just get everything here, and it comes with everything you need all the way down to the micro SD card as well. And you have two options. You have the 4GB RAM option, which is roughly $30 cheap, well, $20 cheaper. And then you have the 8GB option, which is what I chose. I think for $20 more, you might as well go with this 8GB option. You don't necessarily need that much, but if you get really complex and you start running a lot of automations, you may be thankful that you got that 8GB RAM version. But I did find that even with my house fully set up, I was able to be successful with less than 2 gigs when I was running Home Assistant on a VM not too long ago. Which brings me to my next point. Yes, you can install Home Assistant on your MacBook, on your PC, but the reason why you want to go to a device like this is because when you go to an isolated Raspberry Pi for Home Assistant to run on, Raspberry Pis allow for high uptime, low power workloads, right? So you don't want something that consumes a lot of power. Like if you're running a PC full time, keep in mind, your PC can't sleep. This thing needs to be on all times so that the automations can run appropriately. And that's just a waste of power usage, right? Especially if you're not using that PC every single day. And again, with your MacBook, you would have to keep that MacBook running at all times. So going to a device like this allows you to run all day 24/7 with low power usage. Now, assuming that you've already ordered this kit or you have one on hand, we are going to spend the next portion of this video putting it together so that we can flash the necessary software to get this thing up and running. All right, so we have the kit. This has everything you need. So the CanaKit, like I said, you can get this on Amazon. In the box, we have one mini HDMI to HDMI cable if you want to display it to the monitor of choice, but we're not going to be using that. Hopefully. If something goes wrong, then we will. Here's the case where you're going to put the Raspberry Pi at. It's pretty simple. It is very glossy, so it is a fingerprint magnet. And here's where your fan is going to go. Again, the reason why you want this kit is because this is a high uptime project. It will always be running. and you do want it nice and cooled, but it's also low power. I do recommend this over a PC install. Here's the Raspberry Pi. Some instructions. You don't need these because you're gonna be watching my video, right? We'll put this to the side. Here's your power cord. I'll put this to the side as well. Here's the heat sink. What's nice is, I thought this was a, it would be nice if they made it to where you actually had something to pry this open, like a tab or something. So take this out, take this heat sink out. This is gonna be one of the first things that we do apply. It also has the adhesive on it already, which is really nice. When it comes to mounting this to the Raspberry Pi, the way you can think about it is this upper right corner goes here, and then it goes just like that. Easy. Here's the fan that I had brought up earlier. Here is the micro SD card to USB. So what we'll do first is take a look at the board. We have two USB 3s, then two regular USBs where you can put your mouse and keyboard if you plan on using that. We have an Ethernet port. I'm actually going to be plugging this directly into my router. Now on the SD card, it does have PiOS already installed. So theoretically, you could simply plug this in and plug it up to your monitor and it will already have the OS installed. However, we're not gonna do that. We're actually gonna be running it through the Raspberry installer and installing Home Assistant directly, which is why we're then gonna be able to directly connect this to the router and access it, which I will show you all how to do. But what's nice is that it does come with the SD card configured already with PiOS, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. So what we're gonna do first is install this heatsink. I'm gonna sit in my chair. And like I said, make this easy. Take these pull tabs off. Then we are going to take the Raspberry Pi, line it up using this upper right corner on this chipset here, and then everything else will fall into place. Just like that. And then this tab right here, you're gonna pull up to access the CPU fan, just like that. What we're gonna do next is install the Raspberry Pi into the supply case. These two pieces should separate just like that. And then we're gonna line it up with the grooves so that we have the ports accessible when we put the top on. As you can see, we have all our ports available. Then what we'll do is apply the top. Then we're gonna set this down. We're gonna open the fan. See, this is what I'm talking about. They actually made this one easy to open. So then we'll take this fan. You want this logo to be facing up. You're gonna take this and it's going to fit perfectly. Now you all will see why I recommended to pull this tab prior to installing the case. Makes it easier to simply plug and play this and then snap the top on. So the top is gonna go on just like this, but what we'll do is plug this in first. And then it is plugged in. So we have our two HDMI ports. We have USB-C for power. This is where our micro SD card is going to go. And then we have our Ethernet, and again, our 4 USB inputs as well. So what we're gonna do is move this out the way and get this micro SD card flashed. and then we'll get that booted up. Do you see how easy that was to set up? So what we're gonna do now is plug the micro SD card into the computer, and you are going to download Raspberry Pi Imager from the Raspberry Pi website. And this can be installed on Mac, Windows, and Linux. Now that we have Raspberry Pi Imager installed, we are going to, first of all, open it and then select the device that we're installing on. In this case, this is gonna be the Raspberry Pi 5. Now, you can get some cheaper options on something like on a website like eBay if you wanted to get an older version like the Raspberry Pi 4, but I just recommend going with the latest and greatest, and then you can just set it and forget it. Now this does also have Wi-Fi on board, but in this video I do recommend you connecting directly to your router, especially for the boot up. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. And then we're gonna go down to other specific purpose OS. You're gonna ignore the ones at the top. Home automation. All right, sorry about that. Here we go. Home automation, and then home assistant. And then here we go right here. You're gonna select the micro SD card. Again, make sure you install this on the right drive because it is going to flash it. Then we're gonna hit right. And then last checkbox, you're gonna enter your password. Now, once this finishes flashing, then we are going to put this inside of the Raspberry Pi, plug it up to power and boot this thing up while also connecting it to the router, and then giving it around 10 to 15 minutes to boot up, and then we should be able to access it from our web browser. All right, so as you can see, this is finishing up. So this took around, I would say 5 to 8 minutes. So it's a pretty fast installation. So we're gonna skip verification. I trust that everything was done. All right, so we are in the master closet. We are going to connect the Raspberry Pi directly into the router and then power it. So we're just gonna be going in right there. And then we are going to power the Raspberry Pi. Don't make fun of me for my network setup. We're gonna have a video dedicated on making this look sexy, but it works for right now. Now that we have the Raspberry Pi booted up, it's been about 10 minutes, and I got an alert from my router that a new device was connected, so I know we're good to go there. What you're gonna do next is you're going to go to homeassistant.local port 8123 in your web browser. You can do this on your laptop, your phone, anything that has a web browser, and you should see this screen. And so what I'm going to do is I'm starting over from scratch. I'm going to click the create my smart home. Now, if you are migrating from like a PC instance, then you can upload a backup, or if you have Home Assistant Cloud set up, you can install that backup as well. So create my smart home. It's gonna be Dante. We're just gonna say Dante. Then we're gonna enter a password. It's gonna ask you for your home address. We're gonna enter that. So it's really nice. So like once you have your home location set up, you can actually do a lot of creative automations. You can have, for example, like in my previous home assistant setup, I had it to where if none of my mobile devices were connected to the Wi-Fi network, or it knew, hey, make sure all lights are just off. And I also had it to where once it detected that my phone was close to my home location, I was able to enable some of my other automations. So you can use that for this. It'll also give you some metrics like weather and all those good things. But let's set this up. You can see that it's already found some of my smart devices. So we're just gonna hit finish. So at the home screen, it automatically pulled up some of my speaker zones in the house. Again, you can link a lot of this to different automations if we're referencing my previous video around setting up home audio. But let's say, for example, smart light switches, which I also made a video for. I'm gonna show you how you can simply set up integration. A lot of this you can find through Discovery. Again, some stuff is gonna pop up here through Discovery, but for example, it's only pulling up my first floor hallway light. So what I'll do is type in the name of the brand for the Casa lights, which is TP-Link. So I'm just going to go to the lower right corner, add integration, and then I'm going to type in TP-Link. And then, like I mentioned, it's only showing 2 of the lights, but there's actually a lot more. So what I'll do is click this integration name and then just hit submit. And then it's going to actually find, it should find all of the other devices. So then you see here, I can office ceiling lights. So I'm actually in here right now. So if I click this, I can hit submit. We can say office, and then that is done. And then I can easily just turn this off, right? So it's super easy. As you set up devices, then you can set up automations. So like if you think of like Amazon routines, you can actually use different logic to make certain conditions match what you're looking for and then set off those triggers. Again, gonna keep this video high level, but we can go really in depth in future videos. But I hope you all really enjoyed this video and just seeing how easy it truly is to set this up and start to connect to some of your smart devices that you already have in the house. And then that's when you truly can unlock the power of this platform. So in the next video, what I'm going to do is show you all how you can simply mount one of your older tablets to the wall and actually start developing those dashboards and have those dashboards uniquely tailored for that room that the tablet is in. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comment box what you want to see next. Happy 2026. Make sure you keep teching it up. Peace.